of Lebanon's forest into a fruitful orchard is alluded to in the Restoration prophecy and illustrates a complete reversal of matters. Issa 29. 17, 18. Jehovah, through Jeremiah, said concerning the house of the king of Judah, "You are as Gilead to me, O textoi acute miritra longo." Lebaoth 232. The people did not render justice, the house would become a mere devastation. 22. 1-5. And those dwelling in figurative Lebanon Jerusalem, being nested in the cedars, would experience calamity. 22. 23. See also as 17. 2, 3. Similarly, the desire of Assyrian king Sennacherib to ascend the height of Mount Venus regions, the remotest parts of Lebanon, and to cut down its lofty cedars appears to allude to his intentions concerning Jerusalem. Issa 37. 21-24. The prophetic words regarding the violence done to Lebanon had to 17 may refer to calamity in store for Jerusalem, or they are perhaps to be understood literally as denoting the depletion of Lebanon's forests through the ravages of war. Compare Issa 14. 5-8. Zechariah's prophecy 10. 10 pointed to the time when Jehovah would bring his people back to the land of Gilead and Lebanon. In this case Lebanon may refer to the territory W of the Jordan, as Gilead designates the land D of the Jordan. Lebaoth la middle Baoth Lionesses. A city in the southern part of the territory of Judah. Jos 15. 21, 32, apparently also called Beth Lebaoth and assigned as such to the tribe of Simeon. Jos 19. 1, 2, 6. See Beth Lebaoth. Lubkamai, heart of those rising up against me. This appears to be a cryptographic name for Chaldee, Orcas middle.dim. It occurs only at Jeremiah 51. 1, in a statement regarding what Jehovah would do to Babylon and the inhabitants of Chaldee. The term is employed there in keeping with a system called Athbash, in which the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet Tor represents the first letter thereof Aleph, the second last letter Shin represents the second Beit, and so forth. Hence, at Jeremiah 51. When the real name Kaz middle.dim is disguised by forming the Hebrew word Levka middle.my. For Libkamai the Greek Septuagint has the Chaldeans and the Targums read the land of the Chaldeans. Lebanon middle.bonar. A place mentioned as a reference point in connection with the location of Zillow. JG 21. 19. It is tentatively identified with El-Luban Shakia, about 5 km 3 mi WNW of the suggested site of Zillow. However, the Bible's placing of Zillow toward the south of Lebanon may indicate that originally the city was farther than this suggested site. Lekalaka. Probably a descendant of Judah through a 1ch4. 21. On the basis of the context, it has been suggested that Leka was a village, but the location of such a place is unknown. Leech Heb. Alu middle.ga. A blood-sucking worm with a flat, segmented body that tapers at both ends, but is broadest toward the posterior part. Leeches measure from over 1 cm 0.5 inches to over 10 cm 4 inches in length. These creatures have a disc, or sucker, at each end of the body, the one at the head end being equipped with biting jaws. Leeches are found in great numbers in many streams and rivers of the Middle East. The young of one variety Limnodis nilotica, when swallowed with the drinking water, attach themselves to the nasal cavities, larynx, or epiglottis of their host. They grow rapidly and are not easily removed. Their presence can hinder breathing, and this, as well as loss of blood, sometimes proves fatal to the victim. Sole mention is made of the leech heb. Aluka at Proverbs 30. 15, where the reference is to insatiable greed, it being stated that the leeches have 2 daughters that cry, "Give, give." The commentary by F.C. Cook suggests that the leech's greed is here viewed as its daughter, spoken of in the plural to express intensity. Others consider the 2 daughters to be a reference to the 2 lips of its blood-sucking disc. A leech may consume 3 times its own weight in blood, a strong anticoagulant in its saliva ensuring a continuous flow from the victim. Leekheb. Chow middle.sire. One of the items of diet for which the mixed crowd and the Israelites longed while in the wilderness. Nuo textoi acute miritra longo, legal case 233 leg. The limb of a man or an animal used to support the body and for walking. In connection with the installation of the priesthood, the right leg of the ram of the installation constituted a part of the wave offering. Late 22, 25-27 in certain sacrifices, the right hind leg, evidently the choice upper part of it, was also given as a sacred portion to the officiating priest. The 7. 32-34. 10. 12, 14, 15 the front leg, the shoulder or shoulder blade literally, arm, is also mentioned as a portion for the priests, at Numbers 6. 19 and Deuteronomy 18. 3. Insects having leaper legs Heb. Pyramidal.im were the only winged swarming creatures designated by the law as clean for food. Law 11. 21 elsewhere, the same Hebrew term refers to the shanks of animals. See shank. Jehovah prophetically told Babylon. Strip off the flowing skirt. Uncover the leg. Cross over the rivers. Isra 47. 1, 2 Instead of being a pampered queen who is served, she figuratively had to uncover her legs to the hip to wade barefoot as a captive across the rivers through which her conquerors would drag her. Legs were also used figuratively to represent mightiness or human swiftness and power. At Psalm 147. 10 we read, Not in the mightiness of the horse does Jehovah take delight, nor in the legs of the man does he find pleasure. At Proverbs 26. 7 lame legs are referred to as a symbol of uselessness or incapacity. It appears to have been a Roman custom to perform a coup de grace by breaking the legs of criminals condemned to die on the stake in order to shorten their miseries. The soldiers, at the Jews' request, broke the legs of the men impaled on stakes alongside Jesus Christ but, finding Jesus already dead, did not break his legs. Consequently, the prophecy at Psalm 34. 20 was fulfilled. Job 19. 31-36. Compare X 12. 46. New 9. 12. Legal case. A matter to be settled in a judicial court. A legal hearing or trial. The principal Hebrew verb having to do with legal cases is rive, meaning quarrel. Contend. Conduct a legal case. GE 26. 20. 33. 8. PR 25. 8 The noun form is rendered controversy. Dispute. Case at law. Legal case. X 23. 2. To 17. 8. PS 35. 23. ISA 34. 8 The Hebrew word din judgment is sometimes rendered legal case. Legal claim. Legal contest. Job 35. 14. PS 140. 12. PR 22. 10 A legal case, among God's servants, had as its primary purpose the satisfying of the divine requirements and, secondarily, the rendering of justice to the person or persons involved, along with compensation where such was due. God considered himself involved in even personal offenses between humans, as is noted in Moses' words to Israelite judges at Deuteronomy 1. 16, 17. A legal case was conducted in the Garden of Eden, to bring out the facts of that case and the issues involved, to establish them as a matter of public record, and also to pass sentence on the offenders. Jehovah called Adam and Eve before him for questioning. Though he knew all, he held a hearing, made the charges clear, brought out the facts by questioning, and gave them an opportunity to make expression in their own defense. He obtained a confession from the offenders. Jehovah then made his decision in the matter and, with justice and undeserved kindness, applied the law, exercising mercy toward Adam and Eve's unborn offspring by deferring the execution of the death sentence upon the offenders for a time. GE 3. 6-19. Jehovah God the Supreme Judge here set the pattern for all further judicial proceedings among his people. GE 3. 1-24 Legal cases conducted according to God's judicial regulations were for the finding and discussion of facts for the purpose of rendering justice. Where possible, justice tempered with mercy. The 16. 20. PR 28. 13. Compare Mount 5. 7. Just 2. 13. The entire procedure was meant to keep the nation of Israel uncontaminated and to provide for the individual welfare of its members as textui acute miritra longo. Legal case 234 present when testimony was presented against him and could make his defense. No equivalent of a public prosecutor appears in either patriarchal or Israelite courts. Neither was an attorney for the defense necessary. Proceedings were without court costs to the litigants. A person with a civil matter or a complainant in a criminal matter would bring his case to the judges. The other party would be called, witnesses were gathered together, and the hearing was conducted usually in a public place, most often at the city gates. De 21. 19. Rule 4. When the judges would question the litigants and examine the evidence and testimony, they would render a verdict without delay unless evidence was lacking, or if the matter was too difficult, the judges would refer the case to a higher court. Sentences, such as flogging and the death penalty, were carried out immediately. There was no provision in the law for imprisonment. Custody was employed only in a case in which Jehovah had to be consulted for a decision. Law 24. 12. See Court, Judicial. Crime and punishment. Guilt always brought liability. There were no exceptions. Guilt could not be overlooked. Wherever the law demanded it, punishment had to be administered or, in some cases, compensation made. Then the guilty one, in order to make peace with God, was required to present an offering at the sanctuary. Sacrifices for atonement were required in any case of guilt. The 5. 1-19 Even unintentional sin brought guilt, and offerings had to be made for atonement. The 4. 1-35 In certain wrongdoings, including deception, fraud, and extortion, where a person voluntarily repented and confessed, he had to make compensation and also present a guilt offering. The 6. 1-7. Evidence. If a person was a witness to apostate